Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Beautifully Unfiltered Podcast. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. And if you're carrying a heavy heart, a tired mind, or a burden that nobody seems to notice, please know that you're not alone. Today's episode is for the people who are always told they're strong, the people everyone depends on, the people who keep showing up even when they're breaking inside, the people who smile and say, "I'm okay," even when they're anything but okay. Today, we're talking about something we don't hear often enough. When being strong gets exhausting. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's have an honest conversation. There comes a point in life when being the strong one stops feeling like a compliment. At first, it feels empowering. People admire your resilience. They admire how you handle problems, how you keep going despite everything you've been through, how you never seem to fall apart. But what most people don't realize is that strength can become a burden when you're expected to carry it all the time. Because eventually, even the strongest people get tired. Not tired from work, not tired from responsibilities, but tired from constantly carrying emotions they never allow themselves to release. Tired of pretending they're okay. Tired of always being the helper but rarely the one being helped. Tired of holding everyone else together while quietly falling apart inside. And maybe that's where some of you are today. You keep going because you feel like you have to, not because you're okay, but because you don't think you have another choice. Some people became strong because life forced them to. Maybe nobody was there to save them. Maybe they learned early that if they didn't take care of themselves, nobody else would. Maybe they became the responsible one in the family, the caretaker, the fixer, the peacemaker, the person everyone runs to when life gets difficult. And after years of carrying that role, they forget something important. Strong people need support too. Strong people need rest too. Strong people need someone to ask, "How are you doing?" Not because they look like they're struggling, but because they're human. Sometimes the people who seem the strongest are the ones hurting the most in silence. Constantly carrying everything alone can lead to emotional fatigue and burnout. And true strength includes allowing yourself to rest, ask for help, and be vulnerable. One of the hardest things about being the strong one is that people stop checking on you. Not because they don't care, but because they assume you're fine. They assume you can handle everything. They assume you're not struggling because you never show it. And after a while, you start believing that too. You convince yourself that you have to keep it together. You tell yourself, "I can't fall apart. I need to be strong. Other people have it worse. I'll deal with it later." But later becomes weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. And eventually the emotions you've been ignoring start asking to be felt. The sadness, the disappointment, the grief, the loneliness, the exhaustion. Because feelings don't disappear just because you ignore them. They wait, and they grow heavier. The truth is, strength was never meant to mean suffering in silence. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned that being strong means never crying, never asking for help, never admitting we're struggling, never slowing down. But that's not strength. That's survival. Real strength isn't pretending everything is okay. Real strength is having the courage to admit when it's not. Real strength is saying, "I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I need help. I need a break." And that's not weakness, that's honesty. Emotional resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about allowing yourself to feel difficult emotions and still move forward in a healthy way. I think one of the most healing things we can learn is that we don't have to earn rest. Let me say that again. You do not have to earn rest. You don't have to reach a breaking point before you're allowed to pause. You don't have to finish every task before you deserve a moment to breathe. You don't have to prove your worth through exhaustion. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a necessity. Imagine if your phone never got charged. Imagine if your car never got fuel. Eventually, it would stop working, not because it was weak, but because it was depleted. And the same thing happens to us. You cannot keep pouring from an empty cup. You cannot keep giving what you no longer have. You cannot keep saving everyone while abandoning yourself. Sometimes being strong means setting boundaries. And I know that's difficult, especially if you're used to being available for everyone, especially if you're used to saying yes, especially if you're afraid of disappointing people. But protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. You are allowed to say, I can't do that right now. I need time for myself. I need space. I need rest. The people who genuinely love you will understand. And if they don't, that doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. It simply means they're uncomfortable with a version of you that is finally choosing yourself. Another thing I want you to remember is this: you don't always have to be the brave one. Sometimes you get to be the one who leans on someone else. Sometimes you get to cry. Sometimes you get to admit you're scared. Sometimes you get to say, I don't know what to do. And that's okay, because nobody was meant to carry life alone. We all need people. We all need support. We all need safe spaces where we don't have to pretend. Connection and support are important parts of resilience, especially during difficult seasons of life. So if you're listening to this today and you're exhausted from being strong, I want you to hear this clearly. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to have bad days. You are allowed to not have all the answers. You are allowed to put down the weight you've been carrying for so long, because your value does not come from how much pain you can endure. Your value does not come from how much you sacrifice. Your value does not come from how well you hide your struggles. You are worthy simply because you exist, not because you're strong, not because you're productive, not because you're useful to others, but because you're human. Beautiful souls, if nobody has told you this lately, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for making it through the days nobody knows were difficult. I'm proud of you for surviving battles you never talk about. And most importantly, I'm proud of you for still being here. Remember, being strong doesn't mean carrying everything alone. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit you're tired and allow yourself to rest. If this conversation touched your heart in any way, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more real conversations about love, healing, self-worth, and life lessons. And if there's a topic you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, feel free to leave it in the comments. Be gentle with yourself. You don't have to be strong every second of every day. Take care, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. This is Maya from Beautifully Unfiltered Podcast.